The most successful bank robbers of the 21st century don't work for the mafia. They work for a government. Since 2017, a single North Korean hacking unit called the Lazarus Group has stolen more than $3 billion in cryptocurrency. Last week they did it again. $293 million drained from a DeFi protocol called Kelp DAO in a single night. Nobody's been arrested. Nobody will be. So let's see how it actually works. The Lazarus Group is a state-sponsored hacking operation run by North Korea's Reconnaissance General Bureau. They have been operating since around 2009 and moved aggressively into cryptocurrency theft starting in 2017. According to the United Nations panel of experts, their stolen funds now finance roughly 40% of North Korea's weapons development program. This isn't their first chapter. In 2014, Lazarus operators hacked Sony Pictures and leaked the studio's internal emails in retaliation for the film The Interview. In 2016, they used the SWIFT banking network to steal $81 million from the Central Bank of Bangladesh and would have stolen nearly $1 billion if a typo on a transfer instruction hadn't tipped off compliance officers in New York. In 2017, the WannaCry ransomware attack, which crippled hospitals across the United Kingdom, was traced back to Lazarus infrastructure. Cryptocurrency was the natural evolution. It offered higher returns, lower defenses, and almost no enforcement risk. The group is not small. US and South Korean intelligence estimate around 7,000 cyber operators work under the Bureau 121 umbrella. Most are based not in Pyongyang, but in China and Russia countries, where they can access internet infrastructure North Korea lacks. They operate under aliases: Trader Traitor, Apple Juice, Contagious Interview, Dangerous Password. Each subgroup specializes in a different attack vector. How does a hacking team steal $3 billion without ever being caught? The answer starts with social engineering. Lazarus almost never breaks into a crypto platform directly. Instead, they break into the people who work there. The standard playbook looks like this. A Lazarus operator creates a fake profile on LinkedIn, usually posing as a recruiter from a respected company. They message a developer at a crypto exchange or DeFi protocol. The offer sounds legitimate: a senior engineering role, a substantial salary increase, a remote position with flexible hours. The developer engages. A video interview is scheduled. At some point, the recruiter asks the developer to complete a technical assessment, a coding test. The file looks normal. It runs on the developer's work machine. Inside that file is malware. From the moment the test runs, Lazarus has access to everything the developer can access: internal Slack channels, deployment credentials, private repositories, in some cases, hot wallet keys sitting on the same machine. The operator waits weeks, sometimes months. They map the target's internal systems. They identify which wallets hold the most liquid assets. They study when the security team is understaffed, national holidays, weekends, off-hour time zones. Then they move. The 2022 Ronin Bridge attack, which drained $625 million from the Axie Infinity ecosystem, started with a fake job offer to a senior engineer on LinkedIn. The PDF containing the offer letter delivered the malware that gave Lazarus access to 5 of the 9 validator nodes securing the bridge. 5 out of 9 is a majority. Once you control the majority, you can authorize any transaction. In the Kelp DAO attack on April 18th, the mechanism was slightly different, but the pattern was identical. Instead of compromising a developer, Lazarus compromised 2 RPC nodes, the servers that relay messages between blockchain networks. They then launched a distributed denial of service attack on the legitimate nodes. With the real nodes overwhelmed, the compromised ones validated a fraudulent cross-chain message. That message authorized a withdrawal of 116,500 rupees ETH tokens, worth $293 million, to a wallet Lazarus controlled. The cascade that followed was worse than the theft. The attackers used the stolen tokens as collateral on Aave, the largest DeFi lending protocol, and borrowed against them, leaving Aave with roughly $195 million in bad debt. Within 48 hours, depositors withdrew nearly $8 billion from Aave in a digital bank run. The AAVE token dropped 20% in a single day. But stealing the money is only the first step. The harder problem is turning stolen cryptocurrency into something North Korea can actually use. Cryptocurrency is only valuable if you can cash it out without being traced. For Lazarus, that's the core operational challenge. The laundering process runs in 4 stages. First, split. Immediately after the theft, the stolen funds are fragmented across hundreds of wallets. The Kelp DAO funds moved across more than 20 blockchains within hours of the initial drain. Second, hop. The fragmented funds are swapped from Ethereum into other assets, often Bitcoin, Tron, or stablecoins, through decentralized exchanges that don't require identity verification. Each swap breaks the on-chain trail. Third, mix. The hopped funds are routed through cryptocurrency mixers services that pool user funds together to obscure their origins. The US Treasury sanctioned Tornado Cash in 2022, which forced Lazarus to rotate to Sinbad. Sinbad was sanctioned in 2023. They rotated again. Every time a mixer is sanctioned, a new one appears within months. Fourth, fiat conversion. The mixed funds are eventually sold through over-the-counter brokers in China, Russia, and smaller jurisdictions with limited anti-money laundering enforcement. The brokers take fees of 8 to 15%. The laundered dollars then move back to North Korea through informal networks and shell company bank accounts. In the Kelp DAO case, the Arbitrum Security Council froze 30,000 ETH, about $71 million, before it could be laundered. The remaining 220 million has already moved through the first 3 stages. But here's where the economics get genuinely strange. So, let's follow the money. North Korea's total annual budget for state operations is estimated between $6 and $8 billion. That's the entire government, military, civilian administration, everything. Lazarus Group steals between $500 million and $1 billion per year from cryptocurrency alone. In some years, that figure has exceeded the country's official export earnings. The money funds 3 main priorities: the nuclear and missile weapons program, estimated at $1 to $2 billion annually, the leadership's personal expenditures, including luxury goods and foreign villas, and the operational costs of Bureau 121 itself, salaries for 7,000 hackers, infrastructure in China and Russia, and the development of new attack tools. The FBI has indicted more than 20 Lazarus operators by name, including Park Jin-hyok, who was first named in a federal indictment in 2018. None have been arrested. They live in jurisdictions where extradition to the United States is effectively impossible. Lazarus is, functionally, a sanctioned criminal enterprise that operates with state protection. So what does this mean? Lazarus Group is the first major case in modern history of a nation-state operating as an organized crime syndicate at scale. Previous state-sponsored hacking, Russian GRU, Chinese MSS, Iranian IRGC, focused on espionage and disruption. North Korea focuses on revenue. The target choice is deliberate. Cryptocurrency platforms are high value, underdefended, and operate outside traditional banking's KYC infrastructure. A bank robbery nets a few $1 million, and every federal agency responds. A DeFi protocol exploit nets hundreds of millions, and the response is a blog post. The mechanism also exposes something specific about cryptocurrency's design. Permissionless blockchains enable innovation. They also enable theft at a scale traditional finance cannot match. As long as bridges, exchanges, and smart contracts exist with exploitable code, Lazarus will find them. And as long as North Korea needs hard currency for its weapons program, it will continue to fund the operation. Ronin Bridge in 2022, $625 million. Harmony Bridge the same year, $100 million. DMM Bitcoin in 2024, $305 million. WazirX in India that same year, $230 million. Kelp DAO last week, $293 million. The cumulative total is above $3 billion. The prosecutions continue to stand at 0.